Hey everybody, it's Bruce here from WaterBear, and once again this channel is all about helping you on your journey as a musician. And today we're going to look at a very important subject, how to start a band. So if you're not in a band already, or you've been in a band and it's all conked out, have no fear, we're going to start right here. So we're going to be talking about how to start a band, and I want to say right now this is a golden opportunity, because rather than falling into a band and then releasing some stuff and then figuring out you've made some kind of howling errors and you've got to kind of sort it all out, and you've got strange personality mix in your band and your mates and then your kind of business partners and the whole thing's a bit of a nightmare, we can start from scratch, design something that really works, and all your creativity doesn't have to go into anything other than designing an amazing band with an amazing concept behind it, and therefore you can put it into practice and change the world with your music. What could be better than that? Let's get started. Tip number one is design a blueprint for your band. Now, we are in a world full of bands, full of musicians, and full of people who can play really well. But there is something in short supply, and that's you. That's the person with the vision, the idea, the reason for the band to exist in the first place. So that can come from here right now. It's a bit like songwriting. If you've got a great concept for the band, you will come up with a great band. So now's the time, design the blueprint. So how do we do that? Let's go to tip number two. Tip number two, this is all about leadership. So that blueprint is going to be the thing, the idea, the concept is going to what brings other people to your band, be it other band members or people in the audience that you're going to be playing to or speaking for. So the stronger your concept, the stronger the blueprint, the greater your powers of communication and ability to bring people into the story that you're creating. So in order to bring this thing to life, we're going to need some assets. So you're going to need a band name and a logo. This is super tricky these days because every noun on the planet has been taken. So if you want to use the name elbow, sorry, it's been taken. If you want to use the name shin, it's gone. Knee's gone. Hand has gone. Any noun you can think of. The Worms, I'm sure there's 20 bands called the Worms. So that's why you get elongated band names like Celadorm, Mooncrow, or strangely spelt names like the Clowns with 2 W's. You get the idea. This is probably your biggest challenge, to come up with a cool name and something that can be searchable and something that'll be turned into a great logo. But you've got all the time in the world. Patience is a virtue here. Just take your time and come up with something uber cool. So while you've got the pen and paper out and you're designing band logos and band names and you're in that kind of scrapbook kind of way of working and thinking, now's the time to think about what this band stands for. What's the reason for forming yet another band? And it usually boils down to musical direction, lyrics and subject matter, because your job as an artist, rather than just a craftsman who can make music sound good, but the job of the artist, the art bit, is to speak for other people, to represent what you see in the world, to represent your culture, changes in society, stuff that you feel strongly about. What is the fundamental reason for this band to be created, and how can that be encapsulated in an album title or song titles? And the more great song titles you've got, the more great songs are going to emerge from that subject matter. And if you're serious about making the transition from someone who's a good player or a good musician or a good singer to somebody who actually speaks for an audience and is an artist, then you probably need to think about what this thing's going to look like. What's it going to sound like? What are you going to say? And what's it going to look like? Now, if you were a professional stylist, what you'd do at this point is create a mood board, which is a posh name for, again, a scrapbook. So start to look at other bands, start to look at other iconic people who have a good look. Wherever you get it from, might get it from a lookbook, from a fashion brand. You might get it from retro films. Anything that you think is cool and fits the feel of your band, put it in the scrapbook, and then you can start thinking about the other people that you're going to put into this band. So before you've even spoken to anybody, you've got the name, a sense of direction, what you're going to be talking about, song titles, and a look for the band. That kind of thing can be encapsulated in one word. That kind of work is all about leadership. And where you lead, others will follow. There's lots of musicians, there's not many leaders. Point number three, Probably the most important of all these points is not to let anything hold you up, especially people. You can't be dependent on other people. You might not have a drummer yet, but that can't stop you. Use a drum machine, get in the rehearsal room, play bass, play guitar yourself. If you haven't got a guitar player, stick a bit of sub on your guitar using an octave pedal. Out of these constraints comes inventivity, comes creativity, comes great songs. And at this stage, it's fine if it's a bit garagey. It's fine if it's a bit punky. All you need is 3 chords and the truth. The fact of the matter is you don't even need that. You need 3 chords and a vibe and the spirit of a creativity. That's rock and roll. Off you go. And I'll tell you what I wouldn't do. I wouldn't be in too much of a hurry to put music out. The main thing is not to underestimate the power of that one song and one great video to change everything overnight. So I would wait until it's great before you start the story, because once you get the cat out of the bag, then you've got to keep that content coming and you've got to keep people involved. You're in a very luxurious position at the moment of full creative thinking, no pressure, enjoy it, be creative. And the other thing I would say is it's tempting to try and turn a band into a democracy. Sometimes it works, but rarely. It may fall to you to lead, and sometimes you don't get a medal for it, but what you do get out of it is creative control and great creative outputs. That's down to you. So good luck with all this. And as you know, I like to look backwards as well as forwards and try and make sure we don't lose great lessons from the past. And I can recommend this little book. It's called The Manual, written by Bill Drummond, KLF. Now, there's a lot of stuff about this that is super dated. However, the fundamentals apply. This is like trying to get hold of a gold nugget. It costs a couple of £100 and you'd be very lucky to find one at any price, to be honest. But it's called How to Have a Number One the Easy Way. And many bands have followed this and actually made it work. There's an awful lot of gold in these tiny pages. If you don't know the story, Bill Drummond and his partner Jimmy were the infamous duo behind the KLF, and their most notorious act was to burn £1 million in seclusion with no audience as some kind of Dadaist art statement. And that story has followed these guys around ever since. It's been researched, people have found the evidence, and I think they actually did it. I think they burned £1 million. They couldn't really afford it. I don't think the wives were very pleased, but they burned £1 million. Anyone who burns £1 million is going to have some pretty unusual ideas. Check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I've been Bruce and you've been brilliant as ever. If you are finding that music's becoming just part of your life, that you can't do without it, and this is going to become your profession, if you've got that vocational feeling, this is what we do day in, day out. We help you construct your own career, getting you from where you are now to where you want to be. We do it in the context of a degree, a BA honours degree or a master's qualification, and you can study with us online from anywhere in the world in a very flexible way, or you can come and study with us in the heart of Brighton. So give us a call if you want to find out more.